Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to our March 8th staff development. We're hoping that all of you got a chance to go get some breakfast. As you see, our location is our configuration rather is a little bit different this morning. As things happen, we are about adaptability, and literally at the last minute, yesterday afternoon, the county bumped us. And so, as you can see, it happens. And so your team here scrambled at the last minute. We were able to make this accommodation, and so it actually worked out really well. So I'd like to congratulate and thank the team, because it really was a scramble, but they made it work. So thank you very much for that. I'd also like to take the opportunity to welcome and thank all of you for coming. We know it's been a long week for you. It's also, we're halfway through the second semester, and we appreciate that you value the work that we're doing now for students. And so the fact that you were here bright and early, bushy-tailed, ready to go, is a testament to your commitment to our student learning, and so we thank you for that. At this time, I want to acknowledge a few of our new employees and also talk about some transitions that we've had. We'd like to welcome our newest teacher for forensic science, and that's Mr. Larry Horowitz. Larry, please stand. Thank you very much. And we also have been fortunate to bring on a new substitute, and that is Mr. Josh Berge. Josh, please stand. And yes, there is a family connection. Josh happens to be the son of John Berge. And John, there you are. There's John. We'd also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge Yohoska Montenegro. Yohoska was formerly acting as our receptionist, administrative services specialist. An opportunity came up to apply for the educational services assistant, and we are happy to report she went through the interview with flying colors, and she is our new ed services assistant who will be at the CTC. And Yohoska is, I believe, out at the front, so we congratulate her. And we're looking forward to working with her. We are going to be, just so that you know, we have a transition in that office, and so we have another position that's going to be opening up, and that's going to be for the Ed Services Assistant as well, and that one will be based at our office here in the Rancho office. So if you know of any qualified applicants, we're anticipating that the posting will go out at the end of this week. We encourage you to send us any qualified applicants to apply for that position. As we're looking forward today, I just wanted to kind of talk to you about where we were last time we met. And one of the big things we've worked on collectively was lesson plan delivery. And if you remember, one of your homework assignments, so to speak, was to go back, take a look at the lesson that you were developing, a lesson that would be a D-quadrant lesson, deliver that lesson, and then be able to provide feedback here at the table about how that lesson went. What were the things that worked well? What are the things that you believe you had challenges with? How you're going to overcome those challenges next time? Some of the ideas that were generated. So we'd like to have you each take a couple of minutes. You've been broken out your tables and your assigned tables. And in 2 minutes each, for each of the teachers, please share out your experience with respect to your lesson plan delivery for the rest of the table. Once again, what we're looking for is, how was the experience? Were students engaged? What were your outcomes? What were the challenges that you faced? Is the lesson plan something that is going to be successful for you in the future? How you're going to tweak it? What you would do differently? And what you learned with respect to student engagement that you didn't know before you did that lesson. So perhaps you took a lesson that you've done for a couple of times, and now we're looking at it through the lens of Common Core, and in the D-quadrant area, you were able to hopefully get a different level of student engagement, a different level of understanding and questioning. Those are the types of questions and responses we're looking for you to have in your conversation with your table. So let's have 2 minutes each from the teachers to go and have that conversation, right? And then we're going to report out from a couple of the tables. Okay. All right, so as we're moving on, there are a couple of housekeeping items that I forgot to mention at the beginning. One, Yohoska wanted me to make sure to remind teachers that if you do not have an ID badge yet, please send her a picture, send her an email with your picture so she can make that badge for you. And if you need assistance with a picture, we're more than happy to have you come on in and we'll take a picture for you. That's number one. Number two, as we always have, you'll notice in the middle of the table we have a lovely container there full of all the lovely office supplies. Don't steal the stuff. I just want to remind you all that, we are a school with limited resources. We're happy to provide support, but we need to use them throughout the year. Don't take them home. I don't want to see them in your classrooms. We need them to stay here for you to utilize them.
A lot of pencils.
Yeah. So just so you know, eyes were watching and we saw what happened last time. All right. In terms of big picture, I just wanted to kind of sum up for you some of the things that we're doing and give you an update as we've been going through. With respect to the CTE's Pathways Trust Grant, the $250 million pathway grant, that's a statewide grant from the California Department of Education. We finally received the request for application, which came out after our January 25th meeting. In the request for application, there were 3 tiers that are going to be offered. 10 applications will be offered at the $15 million level, 15 applications at the $6 million level, and 15 applications at the $600,000 level. As an ROP, we can't apply for those grants on our own. We are a partner in our districts as well as our community colleges, and so they have the opportunity to be the lead fiscal agent, but working also with the ROPs, who of course provide the integration of career and academics. And so I'm pleased to be able to tell you that we will be a partner in the San Bernardino County grant. And San Bernardino County, through the Alliance for Education, is going forward with a grant application for the $15 million. So that's wonderful. The role that we're looking to fulfill within that grant, and the county grant for their application, the linked learning idea is really a big vision for the county. There are currently 5 districts who have adopted linked learning. 2 of our districts have adopted linked learning, Chino Valley and Upland, and so those districts that have already adopted will automatically be included in the grant. So that was great because we're part of those pathways in linked learning, so it was kind of a natural connection. But the county is actually looking to further expand linked learning among the other districts, and we have 33 school districts in San Bernardino County. And so the other districts were encouraged to submit their intent to partner with San Bernardino County in adopting linked learning in a variety of different pathways, depending upon what their own strategic goals were with development of career pathways. Now, one of the things to remember about this grant is it's a bit different than how grants typically are, and that is it is not with education and training first and foremost. If you've been around education a while and you've had the opportunities to either be a part of grants or heard about grants or work with them, oftentimes in education it's about the education and training piece first. This grant is an economic workforce development grant, and the purpose of the grant is really to build and support the local economic profile. And so it's to start with business and industry needs first of the local economy, and then build pathways, build career pathways to support that training so that students will be employable in those high wage, high demand, high skill areas. And that's a different way of doing it. It's very unique. And so as you can imagine, there's always a short timeline, so the request for application came out and we literally have a month in which to put the application through, and it will actually be due on March 28th, I believe. So we wanted you to know that we will be a part of the grant. We're anticipating that the role that we'll play will be with respect to outreach activities. As we often talk about, wouldn't it be wonderful if students came into our programs already with an idea of these are what the possibilities were in high school in terms of I could go and think about if I wanted to go into masonry, what that might be like, or if I wanted to go into pharmacy. Well, it's nice if they are already coming in with knowing that those opportunities exist. So we really want to get down to the middle school level so that they can do career exploration, finding out about what the possibilities are so that as they're coming into high school, they're a bit more prepared. And so that's one of the goals that we have, not only for our ROP, but the other 2 county ROPs, is to make sure that we have a middle school outreach part and a career awareness part so that we can connect them all the way through and start to make sure that they understand where the resources are so that they're very deliberate as they're coming through the high school program. So that's one thing. And then the other thing that we're going to really be supporting, and it's what we're known for, is really the work-based learning opportunities. As high school districts, as the K through 12 districts are coming on board, they understand the relevance of a work experience opportunity for a student and making that connection to why academics are important, why do I have to be in this English class, why geometry is so important. Well, when they can put it in the context of a work environment, it becomes relevant to them. And as you're adopting Common Core, that's what Common Core is about. We're already ahead of the curve. And now the academic component is getting on board. Well, what we're known for is the work-based learning. We have the business affiliate agreements and connections. We have the labs and the work study. We have the connection with those of you who have work experience. And that's the part that we can provide that the districts cannot provide to the extent that we can, and that's what we want to continue to develop. So that will be a big part of the piece that we, as well as the other two ROPs in our county, are going to be offering as part of this county application. So I just wanted to let you know about that. We'll know, I believe we're supposed to know by May. It'll be June. They say we're supposed to know by May. It'll be June. As to what level of success we've had as a county with this application. So just wanted to let you know that that was out there. Basically what the legislature and what the California Department of Education are looking for is to really see have we made that shift, that mind shift change where we're really looking at labor market, we're developing pathways. And if we're successful, other funds will become available, and that's great news. With respect to the JPA superintendent's meeting, I had a meeting with the superintendents. I think it was last week. It's been a long last couple of weeks, you all. Just like for you, it's been long days. But we met with the JPA superintendents and their advisors, and one of the big areas that we met about is with respect to Chino Valley's concerns of distribution of classes, which led them to indicate that they were going to withdraw from the JPA at the end of this year. I'm happy to report that we were able to make some headway. We're going to be continuing to work with them and with all the superintendents and their teams. But as a result of that meeting, we did receive a letter from Chino Valley the day after saying that their intent is not to withdraw at the conclusion of this year and that they're looking forward to working with us for many years to come. So that's fantastic. And so I think that's a really good sign, but I also want, as you're thinking about, you're here, we know we're not going to be funded anymore after June 30th, 2015 directly. We don't know what that's going to look like. Why am I here? Why am I engaged in this work? This is an opportunity. Doesn't mean we won't be here. What our districts are looking for is value and credibility. They want to work with us. Whenever we call a meeting, all of our district superintendents and their teams show up. It's not a situation where we're having to call and beg them. Our board members are showing up. They understand and they believe in college and career readiness, and they believe in career technical education and what it can do for our students. What they're looking for is for us to demonstrate the value that we can provide in helping them with their goals for students. And so I truly believe that if we're able to do that, that they will figure out a way to fund and prioritize us. But it will be up to us. It's an opportunity to show what you can do, and that's what we're doing. So as you're thinking about that, why am I here on a Saturday morning when I could be raking the yard or not? Sleeping in would have been great this morning. This is why you're doing it. You're doing it so that after June 30th, 2015, the work that you've done with students, you'll still be able to continue to do that work. And the districts are wanting to support us, but they're wanting to make sure that when this prioritization of local control funding formula funds, that we can help them with their plans. And they have a new burden with respect to accountability, and therefore, if we're going to be part of helping them with that, we have to demonstrate that we can come through with the goods, and that's just that simple. So having said that, the last piece is with local control funding formula and the LCAP, and as I've already told you, we know we're in the local control funding formula. The LCAP is in play right now, which is the Local Control Accountability Plan. All of our districts are going to be required to submit a plan prioritizing and showing how they're going to benefit students in 8 areas. That plan has to be approved by June before they approve their budget. And so all of our districts are going through the process right now. It's a process that involves community stakeholders. They're having meetings with the community. We're fortunate. We've been asked to sit on the advisory committee panel for Claremont Unified, and so we've been doing that. And all of our other districts, as we're sitting down with them, we're helping them think about prioritizing how when they receive funds, CTE is going to be a part of that. We've been fortunate in that we've made a request to be able to go and present at their school boards in April and May as they're developing their plans, and all of our district superintendents were very supportive of that, so we will be doing that. And that will be an opportunity to take our message, who we are, what we're about, and what we can do for them directly to the board. And ultimately, they're the decision makers with respect to funding. So good things are happening, so I hope as you're going through today, you remember that. And if you need another reason to push yourself along, this is the reason. All right, I hope you have a great day, and without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Michael O'Neill, who's the president of the Bridgeworks Group and our facilitator, and he and Forrest are going to have a wonderful day for you.
I'd like to start off by just going back in my own history. My father was from Beard Farm in Kansas, and in World War II ended up on a submarine, which was an interesting thing for a farming boy from Kansas to do, all of a sudden be out in the middle of the ocean. I'm not even sure that he knew how to swim. And after that, he went into the oil business in a company that provided equipment for oil wells. So I didn't know much about oil, but I could name all the parts of an oil well and what things would do, and I would be out in the field with him quite often. And as a result, kind of like a military brat, you move a great deal. I went to 6th, 5th grades, in fact. So as we moved all about, one of the places I ended up in was Mississippi. And my mother was a deeply devout person who was in the Methodist church, and so every Sunday from morning until late at night we were at the Methodist church. And at the evening service there was the ex-reverend who was there. And we were up in the children's choir at the evening service, and every now and then Reverend Jones would go, "Amen." And it would just come booming through that loft that we were up in. And so we eventually got to bet on how many amens we would get throughout the evening. So the entire children's choir was up there betting a roll of mints on how many amens Reverend Jones would be giving that evening. And I'm telling you that story because I found myself wondering in this new room how many times I would be screeching from the particular sound system the way that I've been able to do the last 3 times. So I will not be wandering around too much, but you might want to go ahead and bet anyway about how many screeches will come out of the piece that is here. We're operating from a vision, mission, core set of values and strategic goals. And at the moment our mission is up there. And Baldy View's mission, according to the 4 commission members, is to analyze current and future economic data and trends. So what's going on right now, and then what's likely to go on in the future. Shelley was talking about our current funding, but funding will change very much. Funding will not only come from the 4 districts, a lot of funding will come from these very, very large grants that are coming down because what you do is so very important. She was talking about Claremont. I happen to do a great deal of work with Claremont, and in Claremont, rephrasing their student achievement goal, because their past student achievement goal was based on the California Standards Test, and as we know, the California Standards Tests are gone, and this year we're putting in smarter balanced pieces. So their student achievement goal was tied to that, and they needed to change it. We want our students to experience success in career, college, and other post-secondary opportunities. So the recognition is there that the concept of a life of work is incredibly important, and that fewer and fewer people can, number one, afford college, and are really going to actually finish college. We're finding out that up to 80% of kids who start college do not finish. And they don't finish for a number of reasons. And one of those reasons is that they haven't been asked along the way to be prepared to do complex thinking. Complex thinking. So a job is not simply clocking in and clocking out. A job is about thinking through all of the things that are going to be there. So when we take a look at our mission, our current and future economic data and trends, in order to identify both skills and attitudes, We've talked about this before. People who have great skills do not necessarily have great attitudes. And so a large part of your work is not only preparing them to do the work, but to work with the people with whom they will work. To form teams. We know that that's the biggest change in everything that's going on. My father would go to work by himself, turning reports by himself. I flew in from San Francisco last night, and at the hotel that I was staying, Yahoo was there all week. And they had taken over basically the entire hotel. I am friends with the GM because I've been there so long, and he and I were having a drink, and he was saying that they had taken 1,000 rooms, and they didn't have as many people show up as they thought, but they let 500 rooms go empty. They paid for 500 rooms that were empty. Because Yahoo's corporate culture is that they put 2 people in a room. So they paid for 500 rooms rather than split people up. Because their corporate culture is about being together, thinking together, working together. When they went out to restaurants, they were in teams of 8. And periodically, one person would leave because they were going to connect with another team. And then someone would come into that group of 8. And then half an hour later, someone else was to leave and to go someplace. And they were moving all across the city. Because what Yahoo does is develop business in every single possible realm they can. So the corporate culture has incredibly changed in the time that my father was in the oil industry in terms of how people are to work together. As we look at our vision, we're trying to inspire these kids to lifelong learning, which means that as they come, they're looking at you to see who you are as well as what it is that you have to teach. They're connecting with you as well as with the path of knowledge. In terms of our strategic goals, we are looking to find courses and pathways that reflect the needs of the current and the emerging market. Shelley is talking about these grants that are coming down, and that is not necessarily about what is currently there. It's about what will be there in the future, and that's these 6 emerging pieces that are there. We want to attract and keep you, which means that to be able to keep you, we have to make sure we're offering you the professional development opportunities that grow you and who you are into these future pieces. And for us, that's the Common Core State Standards, that's the CTE Pathway Standards, and that is the viable curriculums that are there. So where we're going today is the whole concept of going back out into the microcosm. Last time we were together, we went into the lesson plan. And a lesson plan could be one day, it could be 1 week, it could be 1 piece. But now, as we talked to you last August, it's time to come full circle and to think about what a year's course would look like. All of your work today will be in following a set of informational pieces that allow you to, number 1, rename your course in terms of what CTE now is going to say. Some of you may have virtually 5 words out of 6 that are the same. Some of you may have only 1 word out of the 6 that are the same. So you will be working with Forrest to say, when I open up my class in August, what will be my new course title? Then you will be taking a look at the standards for CTE and saying, you're going to rank them 1 through 4. You're going to say a 1 is something that must be taught within my class. A 2 is something that really should be taught within my class. A 3, if I have time, it would be nice to put that in my course. And a 4 is, this is not high on the importance scale, or it's not even applicable. Once you have determined those standards, then you're going to be laying them out in a course sequence. To say, from beginning to end, what makes sense? You will not be developing your own individual course today. Rather, you're going to be learning the concept of that entire piece. So today we have grouped you by your industry sectors. Across the year, we have mixed and matched you. We've asked you to get out, we've asked you to change. And one of the benefits of that, Shelley and I were looking at today, was just the geniality of the room. How easily you mixed with one another. Yes, you were assigned to your table, but you now know everyone across the ROP. And that's very powerful. But today, you're within your industry sector because on your tables are documents that will allow you to work as a team, to think of one course within your industry sector. What steps do you go to rename that course? What steps do you go through to find the key standards? What steps do you go through working with another group to say what is really critically important versus what's not important at all? Then how do you sequence those types of things? And then, just as you did last time, what would a lesson plan look like? One of the big changes is that we will be required to have 180-hour courses. Some of you are currently quarter courses, some of you are currently semester courses, but in the end, we need year-long courses that are based on 180 hours. Some of you will have courses every Saturday that are 4 hours. So you will be saying, what's 180 divided by 4? Those are the number of classes that I will still get to 180 hours. Some of you will have courses within the week. You'll be seeing kids for 55 minutes a day, just like every high school teacher sees them. So you would have 5 periods of 55 minutes every day, ending up with a 180-hour course. We need to unify our offerings. We need to make sure that those can be embedded within the school day. We need to make sure that as many of those as possible become UC A through G approved courses. The more UC A through G approved courses we have, the more counselors will automatically put kids into your classes instead of look at you as credit recovery. As long as you are credit recovery, you're the babysitter that isn't needed until grandma dies. In this way, you are part of the thread of the American machine, taking the rightful place of career, college, and other post-secondary options for students, helping them make those informed decisions. Next year, I look forward to us with these grants expanding into sequences of courses that will lead to a certificate that nearly automatically qualifies someone for a viable job that is a career for life. We need kids to have a variety of options. Not that anyone is right and anyone is wrong, but they need to be there and they need to be prepared to take the kids in. So I know that this is going to be a good day for you. Again, we will all be here to support you. We have asked that everyone stay in the room, including our classified and our career tech people, because it's important that we all know about these course changes, about what a new title would look like. So everyone will be in the room until 9:30, and at 9:30 we'll be splitting off into our 3 separate groups. So everyone at the table should be thinking about the information you're going to see. Everyone at the table should be offering ideas. Everyone at the table should be helping rank 4, 3, 2, 1, whether you're going to teach the course or advertise the course or make sure someone is signed up for the course or make sure that someone gets their certificate for the course. So I know that it's going to be a good day. And I'm going to hand this one over to Forrest.